I have to be honest with you. What I'm about to tell you might sound extreme. It might sound like one of those fads you scroll past on social media, but the data is in. The insider leaks are undeniable, and they're pointing to a single, powerful truth about 2026. The smartest money move you can make this year isn't about finding the next hot stock or timing the real estate market. It's about something much simpler and, frankly, much more radical. It's about pressing the pause button on your entire life as a consumer. Welcome back to Investonomics. Before we dive into this urgent forecast and the shocking insider information that confirms this shift, I need you to do one thing. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. We are tracking the raw, real-time movements of money in America, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Do it now. Okay, let's get into it. We are talking about the No Buy 2026 challenge. And if you think this is just another hashtag for millennials and Gen Z to post about on Instagram, you are dangerously miscalculating the moment we're in. This is a full-blown grassroots economic movement, and Wall Street is only just starting to feel the tremors. I've been digging through the numbers, the surveys, the things people aren't saying out loud, and what I've found is a population that is silently, collectively, deciding to stop playing the game. They're opting out of consumerism, at least for a while, and the implications for your wallet and for your future wealth are massive. Let's start with the headline numbers, because that's where the story always begins. A recent survey from NerdWallet dropped a bombshell. We're not just talking about a few frugal people clipping coupons. We're talking about more than 1 in 4 Americans who have now tried some form of a no-spend challenge. But here's the kicker that should make every CEO in America nervous. 12% of the country joined the no-buy movement for the very first time this year, in 2026. These aren't the usual suspects. These are your neighbors, your co-workers, people who used to buy lunch every day and click buy now without thinking. They've stopped. And why? The leaked internal data from financial wellness surveys paints a picture of quiet desperation. Intuit's latest report, which I got my hands on, shows that a staggering 93% of Americans are planning to change how they manage money this year. That's not a trend, that's a revolution. Over half of the country, 53%, told them their financial stress is higher than ever. And 54%, more than half, are looking back at 2025 with genuine regret. They're looking at their bank statements and they're not seeing a life well lived. They're seeing a leaky bucket of wasted cash, and they're finally ready to plug the holes. This isn't about being cheap. This is about survival, and it's about control. I spoke with a guy named Brent Parsons, a regular guy from Nebraska, a father of 3. He told the Wall Street Journal exactly what so many people are feeling, but can't articulate. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that even with a steady job, even with side hustles, it feels impossible to get ahead. So what did he do? He took a sledgehammer to his own spending. At the start of the year, he literally locked the family credit card in a drawer. Think about that. He created physical friction between himself and the ability to spend money. Now, if anyone in his house wants to buy something, they have to sit down and justify it. Every single purchase becomes a conversation. That is the level of intentionality we're talking about. And then there's Jillian Shee. She's a 32-year-old digital marketer living in New York City. On paper, her finances were fine, but she told reporters that something just feels off. She couldn't shake the anxiety. The cost of everything, the constant drumbeat of news about AI taking jobs, the sheer unaffordability of the American dream, it was eating at her. So she took radical action. She used to spend anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month on discretionary stuff. Clothes, skincare, coffee, eating out. In 2026, she slashed it to $300. She capped her restaurant meals at 3 times a week, down from 10. That's not a budget cut. That's a complete lifestyle transplant. And she's not alone. These are the insider stories, the real-life leaks that tell you the truth about where the American consumer's head is at. Now, let's talk about the psychology of this, because that's where Investonomics really digs in. Why now? Why is no by 2026 the specific rallying cry? A lot of it comes down to reclaiming a sense of power. For years, we've felt at the mercy of forces way beyond our control. Inflation at the grocery store, housing prices that make no sense, insurance premiums that double overnight. You can't control what the landlord charges or what the energy company bills you. Those are fixed costs. But you know what you can control? That $7 latte, that new dress you don't need, the third streaming service you never watch. As one expert, Ashley Piper, who literally wrote the book called No New Things, put it, when the big stuff feels uncontrollable, people grasp for control where they can find it. And that means putting a stranglehold on your own spending. This movement is built on a simple, powerful idea. Rules, not bans. It's not about vowing to never have fun again. It's about setting up guardrails. You make two lists. On one side, you write do, buy. This is your life support. Rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, gas to get to work, necessary medications. That's it. On the other side, you write no buy. And this list gets long. It's new clothes. It's eating out. It's home decor. It's the latest gadget. It's anything that isn't essential for your survival or your ability to earn an income. And here's where it gets really interesting. And this is a tip you can steal right now. The people who are winning at this challenge don't just save money. They give every dollar they save a job. They immediately transfer the money they would have blown on takeout into a high-yield savings account, or, even better, into their investment account. They watch that number grow, and that visual reinforcement becomes more powerful than the temporary dopamine hit of a new purchase. You're not just depriving yourself, you're actively building a future. But let me be clear, because I don't want you to think this is easy. A third of the people who started the No Buy January challenge had already quit by the time the survey was done. This stuff is hard. Our entire economy is built to make you fail at this. Marketing is more sophisticated than ever. Those targeted ads, the buy now, pay later buttons at checkout, the influencer culture that equates consumption with happiness, it's all designed to separate you from your money. As one finance expert, Erica Sandberg, pointed out, if you make your rules too strict, if you draw your budget lines in permanent ink, the first time you slip up, you're going to feel a wave of guilt so powerful, you might just give up entirely. That's why the smarter, more sustainable approach is what some people call low buy instead of no buy. It's about progress, not perfection. Maybe you don't cut everything. Maybe you just pick one category. If you're spending $400 a month on takeout, just cut that in half for a year. That's $2,400. That's a fully funded Roth IRA contribution right there. That's real money building real wealth over time. And this is the part that the mainstream financial media is missing. They look at the headline retail sales numbers, which still look pretty strong, and they say, see, everything's fine. But they're not looking at the details. They're not seeing the K-shaped recovery where the top 20% of earners are doing all the spending, while the bottom 80% are pulling back hard. Moody's just put out an analysis showing that the top 20% of earners now account for nearly 60% of all consumer spending. That's a historic high, and it's a warning sign. You cannot have a healthy economy built on the spending of just the wealthy few. The foundation is cracking. So what does this mean for you? What is the Investonomics takeaway from all of this? It means that the old rules don't apply. It means that if you want to build wealth in 2026 and beyond, you have to be willing to do what the crowd is not. The crowd is finally waking up to the fact that they're broke and stressed. The smart money, the people who are going to come out of this decade ahead, they figured this out a year ago. They've already built the habits. This is your moment. You can sit there and let the anxiety wash over you, or you can take action. I'm going to tell you exactly how to start. First, you audit your own life. Go through your bank and credit card statements for the last 3 months. Don't guess. Look at the actual data. Where is your money actually going? You will be shocked. I promise you. Second, you define your why. What is the one big thing you're saving for? Is it a down payment on a house? Is it 6 months of emergency savings so you can sleep at night? Is it the freedom to leave a job you hate? Write that down. Put it on your bathroom mirror. That is your weapon against temptation. Third, you build the friction. Unsubscribe from all those marketing emails. Mute the influencer accounts that make you feel like you need more stuff. Log out of your Amazon account and delete your saved credit card info. Make it hard to spend money. When you want to buy something non-essential, force yourself to wait 24 hours. 99 times out of 100, the urge will pass. And finally, you join the movement. There are entire communities on Reddit and the r/nabai subreddit with tens of thousands of people doing this exact thing. They share tips, they celebrate wins, they pick each other up after slip-ups. You don't have to do this alone. Look, the insiders, the CEOs, the people at the top, they're counting on you to keep spending. They're hoping you'll just go back to your old ways. Don't do it. This is your chance to break the cycle. This is your chance to take control. This is your chance to build something real. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you tried a no-buy challenge this year? What is the one thing you spend money on that you know you need to cut? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. And share this video with someone you know who needs to hear this message. The more of us who have these conversations, the stronger we all become. This has been another deep dive from Investonomics. Stay smart, stay intentional, and I'll see you in the next one.